the show.
Hi, guys! Get on up here. Welcome back to another episode of Level Bosses.
Good evening. It is September 30th.
The end of the month.
The end of the month.
October's right around the corner, y'all.
Halloween! Yay!
Candy!
You're never too old for trick-or-treating. I will be going full Joker. I'm not even gonna lie.
Awesome. I do not know what I'll be doing.
Jay Vegas still not here. We could
that guy.
summon him to the studio immediately, but we're not sure what state he would be in if we said his name 3 times. I am your host. My name is King Bradley.
And I'm Morgan Fable. As always, we have your weekly nerd news, a new segment called The Deal of the Week.
Ooh.
Yes. We have your comics. And actually, this week, your special feature was by request. Last week, somebody asked us to talk about the North America video game crash of 83.
1983. I wasn't even born yet, and video games almost died?
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently, yeah.
But we begin tonight, as we always do, with what we nerded out on.
So this week, Charlie nerded out on Destiny, as usual.
What else is new?
But also setting up my new MacBook Pro. My old one, 5 years old, died last week, which makes me nervous because mine is getting into that age range.
That's why I don't do Apple technology.
It lasts so much longer.
Mm-hmm.
It does. Anyways.
Dancing with my PC.
Whatever. It wouldn't even turn on is what he's saying. But Retina display on the new one, Fatua. And for others, for the win.
Wait, Retina display?
Yeah, Retina display, yo.
So there's like Retina scan security on MacBooks?
So you're all like up in, no, it's the graphics. Actually, I don't have any idea. That's just what I understood.
Oh, I must know.
So.
Luna said she bought a bunch of books online and one came early.
That is always such a good feeling.
Yes, it is. Unless, when I bought books, I would always time it out like, okay, I'm 6/7 through this one.
Yeah.
So my book should arrive just as I finish the old one. The book's here, but I'm not done.
And then it just sits there and taunts you on the shelf all day. Mm-hmm. Or you pull a Morgan and you just, instead of doing your homework, you read for 5 hours and get the book done.
That can also happen. But slim pickings this week, guys. If you want to be on the show, if you want to hear us talk about shoot us.
Nerdstum.
Look us up on Facebook or find us on Twitter at LevelBosses. Use the hashtag NerdItOut and let us know how you wasted your life.
Yeah, how'd you waste your life today?
How did
this
I
week?
Playing a bit of Destiny. I'm currently working on a quest for one of the exotic weapons. We actually put a picture of that up on the Facebook right before Taken King was released. It's this new shotgun called the Chaperone.
Really?
It looks kind of like a big pistol. Like if anyone's watched Hellsing, it looks like the Jackal. Getting through that quest is a pain.
Really?
I'm just gonna say that. I'm nowhere near
they gotta make
finished.
it worth it then.
Mm-hmm. I watched the season premiere, season 3 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yay!
Nice.
I cannot wait to have seen that by the time you guys are watching us do this video. It comes on Tuesday night, and I will be dead to the world for 1 hour.
Well, good thing we're getting this over with early.
Indeed. And on top of that, I found out that Mighty Number 9, the spiritual successor to Mega Man from Comcast, is Comcept. I keep saying Comcast.
Like, isn't that my internet provider?
Yeah, Comcast. You are not in my happy thoughts at all. But Comcept will be releasing Mighty Number 9 for North American audiences on February 9th of 2016. For everyone else, you get it on February 12th.
What?
Screw you, West of the world.
West of the world.
They know their audience. They know what makes their money. What about you?
Well, now that I'm frightened, not a whole lot of new stuff for me. I mean, I've been watching Devin play some more Destiny. I've watched him run some of the strikes.
As much as he rails against Destiny,
I don't know. He's good about saying, like, this wasn't what they said it was, but at least they're making it something fun.
Okay.
He still is playing a lot more Metal Gear Solid 5 than Destiny. Like, we both are thoroughly enjoying that game.
Fun times.
It is a really good game. and we just sit on the couch and get really fat and lazy. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is the way to go.
So like he said, you can get a hold of us, and we will talk about what you nerded out on.
Spread your message to the world.
Let everybody know. So I guess we can move on to a little bit of news.
Yes.
You got something for us?
The recap of the week. So, the crew behind Call of Duty Black Ops 3 has stated on their website that they are aware that they have a lot of fans that are still waiting to make the transition to the newest generation of console hardware. And the developers have been working tirelessly to bring as much of the Black Ops 3 experience to the 360 and the PS3 as possible. But how much is as much as possible?
Is that what this...
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like much. Players, Call of Duty players on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 will only get multiplayer mode and zombies mode on their consoles when it releases. The campaign being excluded.
Wait, so you'll have campaign for the new gen, but not the old gen?
Correct.
Oh, snap.
Their claim is that the ambitious scope of the 1 to 4 player co-op campaign. Do you hear that Ubisoft released Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege that is coming out without a campaign? Campaigns are important.
Yeah.
I forgot where I was going with that. They claim that the scope of the campaign cannot be faithfully recreated on the old hardware. So the argument is hardware limitations, and I sort of understand that. But that being said, why bother if that's the case?
Yeah, and that's... I hate it when... I mean, I don't know if I should go this route, but it was kind of like with Destiny. The reason they didn't want to do split screen was because it wasn't necessarily hardware, but it was visual presentation.
Yeah.
It wouldn't look like what they imagined it would.
Which I sort of get considering what we got. It's not your traditional first-person shooter.
No.
But
I'm still mad though.
Yeah, and like I can understand. On the one hand, you don't want to exclude a part of your audience. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, you still kind of are. And there are going to be other features, such as a new paint weapon shop. There's going to be a whole suite of esports tools.
What?
That is also being cut out of the last-gen versions. Dang. So if you're watching this, Director Coulson, because I know you play Call of Duty...
My brother, we're racking up major Call of Duty hours. You play?
Of course. Lately, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope you have an Xbox One at headquarters somewhere.
Yeah, really.
Shoot me your gamer tag. Just saying. But yeah, that's a bit of Call of Duty news.
And campaign, like, come on, people, campaigns.
If you're going to charge full price for a game, its single player mode has to be able to stand on its own. That's my personal opinion.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of it. Is it going to be full
That being said,
price?
They say that 360 and PS3 versions will be released for $49.99, which...
That's only $10 less.
Yeah.
That's garbage.
Yeah.
Campaigns are worth much more than that.
Agreed.
Oh my gosh. Fail. Anyways, something that was not fail this week, but was actually really cool, was this Blood Moon stuff.
Ooh.
Did you get to see it?
I saw a little bit of it, because while we had a blood moon, there was also a lunar eclipse. So by the time I remembered and went outside, it was almost gone.
Yeah. Well, what happened is the lunar eclipse happened, and then at the height of the eclipse, I recall, is when you saw the red moon pop up.
Okay.
Or something. That's how I was understanding when I was looking at the little diagrams, because I saw the eclipse happen, and then you had to wait for maximum eclipse. I don't know, maybe I was reading it wrong.
Astronomy terms.
You can correct it in chat for me, but either way, a super blood moon happened on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And it took social media by storm. Everybody was freaking out. You know, apocalypse this and what have you that. But the most popular and the most win was from Nintendo of America. They said, don't panic. But if the moon outside right now has a face, we might be in trouble. Then it connected a picture of Legends of Zelda Majora's Mask to it.
I did see a boy walking past my apartment with an ocarina in his hand and a green tunic. So I didn't see the face, but he could have already been working to stop it. So
there you go. So if y'all missed it, I'm sorry, it won't happen for another decade. The end.
At least it's not like another 200 years like some stuff that pops up on social
But still,
media.
like, Testify, I think it was Testify who was telling me this, I don't remember, but somebody was telling me that a gentleman went outside and he was watching it or whatever, and an older lady walked by him and they were discussing how cool it was, and she was like, you know, this might be the last time I ever get to see this. And it really puts it into perspective for you, because it may be a decade.
But for some people, they might not have a decade.
They don't have a decade. So it's
I remember when I was in elementary school, back when Pluto was still a planet. Pluto is still a planet. I don't care what you say, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Agreed.
Because Pluto does not have the same elliptical orbit as the rest of the planets, there was a point in time where Pluto's orbit brought it closer to the sun than Neptune. So for like, I think a couple of years, Pluto was the 8th planet in the solar system.
Oh my gosh, that's sick.
Yeah, that was really
I don't remember that.
Astronomy.
Astronomy.
I love it. Speaking of astronomy, or speaking of space-related stuff, actor and puppeteer Tim Rose, I don't remember where I was going with that.
Tim Rose.
Yeah, I messed up somewhere. Tim Rose is going to be reprising his role as Admiral Akbar in the new Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens. He gave a very brief interview to theforceawakensblog.com in which he said, out of the need to be secret, we're not actually able to get everything we need to do our jobs as well as we could. And as someone who has been doing it for 35 years, I find it very frustrating. Which I sort of get, but you know, you do a project, you do a big project, and you are bound by a confidentiality agreement.
Yeah.
So, there's not much to be said here. Which I understand. As far as not being able to get everything he needs to do his job, I'd really like to know more about what he means by that.
Like not enough supplies, not enough time.
I'm pretty sure he was puppeteering Admiral Akbar back in '83. I don't really think that's necessary nowadays. It might be preferred, considering, you know, when Episode 1 came out in 3D, everybody was freaking out because when Yoda appeared in Episode 1 the first time in 1999, he was still a puppet.
Oh my gosh, that's sick.
And then when it got redone, he was CG Yoda, and everyone was like, oh, what's going on? And I'm like, it's Yoda, I don't care.
Yeah.
But he goes on to say, what I can say about the new movie is that if you're a fan of the original 3, you're going to absolutely love this one to bits. We'll see about that. You can expect a smorgasbord of people you love.
That's cool.
So, if a lot of the old cast is coming back for this movie, cool. I worry about them promoting it solely on the basis of star power.
Yeah.
To quote a couple characters in Star Wars, I have a bad feeling about this.
It's a trap!
I can't put my finger on it.
It's a trap!
It'll come to me. Anyway.
Oh, okay, great. I'm sorry to hear that. No, I agree though, because if all you're doing is, here's a great mashup of stars you love, and they're all gonna say lines that you love, it's a nostalgia trip, like, it's not gonna hold up.
Yeah, and that's not going to make the billions of dollars you apparently want, Disney, because they considered the release of Age of Ultron to be a failure. It did not, because it didn't gross as they expected it to. Never mind that it was one of the highest grossing films of the year.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that's terrible.
Disney.
What people set expectations for, whatever. Anyways.
Yes, moving on.
So, really high numbers.
Be happy for your high numbers.
Speaking of other high numbers, there is a $3 million prize in the next Dota tournament.
What?
Yes, it's a
You're not my esports person. Where is he?
Testify why. A new tradition is hitting Dota this fall. It's called the Frankfurt Major, and it's going to be actually hosted in Frankfurt, Germany.
Okay.
It's going to be a tournament that'll take place over 6 days, November 16th to 21st through the 21st, and it'll feature 16 teams. They're all going to be competing for this big old major prize pool of $3 million. So Dota is still insane. If you remember our show last year, Devin talked about a few of the competitions.
And people made bank from that.
Yeah, millions of dollars.
It was redonkulous.
And it's just esports is blowing my mind.
But you know what? You know, I don't really know if this qualifies. Like, I like watching a sports game as much as the next guy. I really wish that we put as much stock and importance in intellectual competition as well. And I don't really know if esports falls into that, but the point is there is room.
There is mental and hand and eye coordination. There is, I mean, like there's hand and eye coordination in football and other games like that.
Right.
There's physical skill in sports, not so much in, I guess, I don't know, your wrist doesn't break in the middle of the game. But I think there is quite a bit of strategy and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's not like chess or anything like that, but it is definitely, and the thing is how it's growing. I mean, you have competitions who are millions of dollars. You have universities now giving scholarships to esports
Wait, what?
players. Yeah, we talked about this last year.
Oh.
I don't remember what college it was. I can look that up for y'all, but yeah, there was a school that was starting to give esports scholarships. So it's like, it's starting to get out there. People are hearing of it. I mean, even my family were sending me emails like, oh, we saw this League of Legends esports thing. I was like, yep, that's been a thing.
Nice.
You guys know how much of a nerd I am. Thank you.
You've been listening to the show.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Exactly. So, I mean, in the end, I'm happy for them because I'm not a huge sports fan. I grew up in a huge sports-oriented family. Like, we all did sports, we watched sports, we lived and breathed sports.
Cowboys paraphernalia everywhere.
Oh my gosh, and Broncos. Denver Broncos.
Really?
Yes! My younger brother is a huge Denver Broncos fan.
Do you have family in Colorado?
Actually, we do.
Oh, okay.
And we had another side of the family that we went over and stayed at their house and stuff, and they were huge Broncos country fan. Like,
I'll walk into the store at the beginning of football season, and I'm from Connecticut, so I'll walk around and I'm like, oh, all this Cowboys paraphernalia that I cannot allow to touch my skin.
don't touch me. No, I never had a team. I just watched for the fun of seeing my brothers freak out at each other, and it was always fun to just hang out with people. But now that I've married somebody who's not a huge sports fan either, I'm like, oh, that sports ball started back up?
Let me just tell you, the real fun in football season, which has begun, is the trash talk.
Yeah, and I love Super Bowl parties. Food, loud people, like, it's great.
Because at work, at my job right now, I'm a Patriots fan.
Oh, God.
And everyone who's not a Patriots fan hates Tom Brady, but that's beside the point. So I'm a Patriots fan. My boss is a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and of course the cook is the stereotypical rabid Cowboys fan. So just
course.
all the way around.
Oh, it's good when you get. That's why it's nice in our family. It's not just straight up Dallas fans.
There you go.
Because then when if my brothers ever go to a game or something, they always try to go to a Dallas and Denver game. So my dad has to sit in between these two, and they're just going at each other. It's awesome.
It's a really good time.
So back to real things like video games.
Yeah, the things you care about. Well, the things I care about, because we're going into comics for a second. No, so, actor Robbie Amell, who plays a character on the Flash TV series, which was my favorite thing on TV last year.
Really?
Yeah, season 2 starting up in early October, and I can't wait.
Ooh, it got another season.
Yeah, but Robbie Amell, who plays Robbie Raymond, a.k.a. Firestorm. It's not Robbie Raymond, it's Ronnie Raymond. Bad.
Ronnie.
He recently said at Salt Lake Comic-Con that he was interested in playing Terry McGinnis in a dark, gritty, live-action realization of Batman Beyond. And I'm going to stop you right there, Mr. Amell. One, Warner Brothers in DC has been doing dark and gritty for almost 10 years now.
Yeah,
dark and gritty is not something you need to pitch to them. They would try to make an adaptation of Ouran High School Host Club dark and gritty.
No, that would just make me sad.
Secondly, I don't even know where I was going with secondly, but moving on.
Other things.
Continuing with his quote, I guess, says he's a huge fan of the idea of the Batman Beyond concept. The problem that they have with Batman right now is that since they've got they've got Batman currently in films, that they wouldn't make a Batman Beyond movie until he was too old to play Terry McGinnis. by then he would be the old and crusty Batman. And with that I
Crusty?
remembered my second point.
Okay.
2. Batman Beyond is already dark and gritty. Batman Beyond was an animated series that took place sort of alongside Batman the Animated Series, as was running back in the 90s, and it takes place 40 years later after Bruce Wayne has become basically too old to do what he does, and he's retired.
Yeah.
And then this young teenager, Terry McGinnis,
I remember now. I got you. Okay.
he helps Bruce fight off this gang of punks, and he helps him back into his house, and he discovers the Batcave. And he ends up becoming the new Batman. Yeah. So that being said, Gotham City was a wretched hive of scum and villainy, another Star Wars reference, when the original Batman was still working. After he is retired, you don't need to do any work to make Batman Beyond dark and gritty.
Yeah, right.
Number 3, you are 27 years old. Terry McGinnis is 17. You are too old to play him now. By the time a Batman Beyond film got made, you would be in your, and I'm going to be generous here and say mid-30s. And I really think we've gotten past the era where we have actors in their mid-30s unconvincingly playing teenagers.
Right. Well, though we do have in, what is that TV show, The Big Bang Theory?
Are they supposed to be teenagers?
He's like 40. No, they're out of their grad school.
Oh.
But it's still like they almost feel like 20s, 30s, but he's like 40s or something. Like, it is kind of, you expect him to be a lot younger than what he really is.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I've seen clips here and there, so I didn't actually know how old they were.
Yeah.
But, wow, really?
The one dude, the really smart one. I don't remember the rest of them. I don't care.
I don't remember his name. And you know what? If we weren't doing this right now and I had a moment to think, I could probably remember it.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's
whatever.
move on.
But yeah, it actually isn't the first time the concept has come up. Producer Michael Uslan, I'm going to say, I don't know how to pronounce his name,
Whatever,
Uslan, has said that he would like to see one with Clint Eastwood playing the aging Bruce Wayne.
Sick.
And I can make a joke there. I'm really not gonna, because this is not that kind of show. But
how funny would that be?
Aside, the joke I could make
So
aside, I could totally
old
see
and
it.
bitter and
Basically.
yeah.
Anyway.
So now
moving on.
Moving on. So back to video games.
Yes.
Out of the comic book world, we're jumping into Xbox One.
Ooh.
And the fact that it's about to hit October, so retailers are going crazy with the deals for Christmas.
Oh,
we haven't gotten to Halloween, but here's a deal for you.
Jon Stewart was right.
Xbox has started their bundles. And this whole week, you're going to see a bunch of different ones. The first one that they started with was the Rise of the Tomb Raider bundle. So it's a 1 terabyte drive, full game download of Rise of the Tomb Raider, the one that's coming out this holiday season. Exclusive tactical survival kit content pack, which contains new outfit and weapon skin. That sounds stupid.
A little bit.
I'm like, if you have to pay extra money for something like that, I could see it being in a deal like this, but if you were to have to pay extra money for that.
Yeah.
Anyways. And the full game download of Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. This will be available starting in November, and it'll be $399.
Oh, that's not bad.
And that's where it's like, okay, if you haven't bought an Xbox One by now, like, it's cool to buy these bundles if you're really into Tomb Raider, Halo 5, Forza Motorsport 6, or Gears of War. You'll see information about all these coming out this week. What's up?
No, I just want to say, I already have an Xbox One. I don't like Tomb Raider that much. I might get the game eventually.
Someday.
I'll pass on the bundle.
Yeah, for reals. And my thing is it's just like, I'm more interested in bundles if it was like, oh, look at this cool white version, or look at this cool Zelda version of this.
Don't
or
even,
cool,
I'm
like,
such a sucker for Zelda
or cool
merch.
Halo 5 casing. Like,
right.
Of course, again, it's a great deal if you were planning on getting the game already, and if you didn't have
the console.
Yeah, but otherwise I'm just like, I mean, I understand they're probably doing this to try and get the last people who have not bought the Xbox Ones to buy them, you know?
Now.
So, if you haven't, check it out. You might find something that's for you.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows?
So, anyways, that's Do you have something else?
No.
Was I about to move on?
No, that's
okay.
you're
Thank
fine.
you. I
That's
was
our news.
That's our news. If you find any interesting topics, we have a few of you all, Chris and Charlie especially, who post almost daily on the Facebook page.
Hourly.
We see what you post and we thank you because it always helps us to have some stuff to share with you, and we
Yeah.
love the conversation. So if you have something and you want to share it, tweet us, Twitter us, tweet us, whatever that crap is.
Tweet
Facebook.
us. Drop us a line on Facebook.
Tumblr.
I don't know how contacting us on Tumblr works.
I don't either.
Me neither. That's
Tumble things and we'll tumble onto them.
We have people for that.
Yeah. Thank you, Molly.
But anyway, that's our news.
Just get hold of us somehow. And like I said, our special segment now, we have Sir Nicholas with the deal of the week.
Thanks, Fable. This week we have some great deals on both games and hardware. First, for games, the Humble Bundle has Gang Beats for only $10, and Ark Survival Evolved for 33% off. It's only going to cost you $19.99. So hurry up though, because the Ark sale ends the 30th, so buy it now before it goes away forever. Steam also has some great sales. Arma 3 is 50% off and will only cost you $30. Tomb Raider is 80% off and will cost you $4. And Sniper Elite is 81% off and is only $15. And that's the full Sniper Elite trilogy, not just one game. So you're getting 3 games for $14.99. So buy it. It's a great deal. As far as hardware is going, we've got the MSI GTX 750 is 31% off over at Newegg for $90. But there's a $30 mail-in rebate, which brings the total cost down to only $60. So if you're starting out a gaming rig, that's where you're gonna go. Also from Newegg, there is the ATX Intel motherboard. It's 25% off and only $90. And then that one also has an additional mail-in rebate of $10, so your total cost is $80. Now, if you're looking for an additional monitor for your computer, the Acer 24-inch 1080p LED monitor is on sale at Newegg again for only $120. This is normally a $200 monitor, so you're going to want to snatch this up as quick as you can manage. Now, if you need some extra memory, for only $27, you can get a 128 gigabyte flash drive. Again, this is from Newegg, so you know it's going to be good stuff. Also, PNY makes it, so I mean, really, is there any reason why you won't be buying this? Come on. Now, keep in mind, Black Friday is just around the corner, and after that, we've got Cyber Monday as well. So these are only some of the deals of the week, but there are plenty more out there. If you've got a deal, post it in chat, and we'll have all of the links to what we've found on our Tumblr page. So without further ado, back to you, Fable.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sir Nicholas. That sounded like something I needed.
No.
Maybe even if it's stashed somewhere in my house.
No, I actually did, because if it was... Never mind.
He needs it too, can you tell?
Yeah, I'm not going to start going over tech specs, because that's an entire other long conversation.
So anyways, now, as ever, comics.
Yay! I like this part of the show.
Well, of course you do.
When's he going to start talking? Oh, that's me.
Oh, guess what?
So, we're getting into that part of the year where we see a lot of what we call annuals. And annual publications are periodicals that come out, as is in the title, once a year, or annually.
And now you know.
I'm sorry, that was condescending. I was talking on my part. So, annuals generally have a higher page count, which means they cost more money. And this is usually to include larger single stories that run independently of the running narrative, multiple shorter stories within a single annual, or could contain some other kind of bonus material. For the sake of collectability purposes and numbering, they are considered separate series, or less commonly within the last few years might be released with the year in the title. The Amazing Spider-Man 99 annual, that sort of thing.
Oh, so it's just like a one-shot?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was sitting here thinking like a trade, but it was all of them for the whole year.
Remember last year when I showed you Thor annual?
Okay.
It was a larger issue, but it was 3 short stories in one comic.
Yeah, okay.
So this week, this week, From DC, we have Batman Annual number 4, and that's sort of going into the mystery of Bruce Wayne. You know, Batman disappeared, fighting the Joker in Endgame. Now there's a new Batman, but Bruce Wayne has also returned. So we're dealing more with what happened to him, what's going on in his life right now, and can he ever truly escape Batman? We have Grayson Annual number 2, which deals with Dick Grayson actually and talking to Superman after coming back to Gotham and seeing that Bruce Wayne is no longer the Bruce Wayne he knew. And we have New Suicide Squad Annual number 1, which... Stuff with Suicide Squad is always screwy. Just read it.
Just get it.
Yeah, just get it.
Do it.
Just do it. Just do it! I had to. You made me.
Just do it.
From Marvel, we are continuing with the series of one-shots celebrating the 50th anniversary of S.H.I.E.L.D., and this week it's Melinda May, who is actually a relatively new character. She debuted in the first season of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Cool.
which is now starting at season 3. But yeah, this issue is called 50 Years of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Cavalry. Don't ever call her that.
Don't ever call her the Cavalry.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And without spoiling anything, it's got something to do with cyberwolves? I don't know. It's weird.
Dude, I would want somebody to call me the Cavalry if it has something to do with cyberwolves.
No, this issue has something to do with cyberwolves.
Oh.
Why she's called the Cavalry is
Okay.
actually explored in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay,
Season
then don't do
2,
it.
now out on Blu-ray.
Oh.
You owe me for that pitch, Marvel. We also have issue number 10 of S.H.I.E.L.D., which features Howard the Duck. Apparently, Agent Coulson knows some secret about Howard that holds the key to saving the multiverse. There are no variant covers this issue, so there is no escaping that cover with Howard the Duck right in your face. Somebody f***ing kill me.
I'm a little confused too. Sounds good.
Ugh, not a fan of Howard the Duck. Can you tell?
Not at all.
We also have, for our Secret Wars tie-ins, issue number 4 of X-Men 92. So, yeah. So there was a series. So, as I've said before, every domain in the patchwork that is Battleworld is a fragment of the previously destroyed multiverse. And this one is the 1992 X-Men animated series. So you see the old asymmetrical costume Cyclops. That was when Storm became like more mainstreamly popular. Gambit, Rogue. I don't really know what to say. It's just amazing. You have to read it.
He's just over here melting.
It was a good series, and it's one of the few comic book based animated series from the 90s that has sort of withstood the test of time.
Then that's a big deal.
Yeah, if you go back and you watch the animated Spider-Man, the dialogue is so cheesy and the censorship is amazing. Spider-Man wasn't allowed to punch anyone in that series. It was bad. And
So what the heck did he do?
I'm sure
Just
he
like, I
kicked
don't-
and threw people and webbed them up.
So you could kick, but you couldn't punch.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, I don't remember him ever kicking another person. He'd like be kicking weapons out of their hand. Like, I'm revisiting it in my head and I'm trying to remember how any battles were actually resolved. But
Web.
as my friend from the comic book shop will remind me, there are still some episodes that I can quote verbatim, so I should not throw too much mud. And from Archie Comics, I'm really loving this right now. We get Archie number 3. So after however long this comic book strip has been running, Archie has finally gotten a reboot, a modern reboot, and it looks amazing, as should be expected because the art's by Fiona Staples.
That's sick.
But so this new like mega mansion has been put up in Riverdale, and everybody's wondering as to, you know, the intentions of the enigmatic mogul who's had it built. Meanwhile, a new student has shown up at Riverdale High who is turning a lot of heads, and everyone's wondering who this girl is, and it's Veronica.
Oh my gosh.
If you've read an Archie comic book, comic strip in the last 50 years, you know who Veronica is. I don't have to tell you anything. But that's it for the pull list. It has been refreshingly short this week.
Wow, helped you get caught up with your stuff, eh?
I'm working on it. If there's anything that you guys want me to be on the lookout for, anything you want me to say, hey, this is out this week, drop me a tweet at CrossingFrog, use the hashtag LBPullList, and I will be happy to check on that for you.
There you go. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I guess up next will be our special feature, but before we do that, we're going to take a break.
Oh, yes. And then we will come back after the break.
And then we will talk about the video game crash.
Of 1983.
Woo! Dystopia.
Where is my juice? Welcome back. Our top story tonight is a history lesson you will not hear in Mr. Poole's class, nor in the Jedi archives of a galaxy far, far away. Well, we begin tonight with the video game crash of 1983.
And the funny thing is most people assume it was due to just bad games, and especially to a particular one called E.T. But there was a lot more behind it than you think.
The most important thing to note, and I guess the thing to start with, is that prior to this, the video game industry in North America was flourishing. The Atari 2600 was crushing all of their competitors, and nobody, for the life of them, would put down Pac-Man. And then something went horribly, horribly wrong in mid-1983, and it begins with the downfall of Atari.
Sadly, they just made some really bad decisions.
Really.
One of their most horrifying one was probably not giving credit to game developers and designers and all sorts of the crew. And so they just...
Dissent!
They just left. They just,
They said, screw you, I'm gonna start my own thing. And they did.
And what is it called to this day?
What is it called to this day?
Activision.
One of them, the most popular one, the one that has endured this long, was Activision. And
Not that we're great.
I think we've all got our opinions on Activision.
And though, it's great that these publishers and these groups, or the game developers saw the wrong and decided, hey, let's up and move on. But the problem was there were so many companies being produced out of this that all of a sudden there was an influx of games, good and bad.
Mostly bad.
Mostly bad.
Mostly bad.
They just started shoving them all up on the shelves. Whatever console they thought that might be the next best hit, they made a game for it. Nowadays, you don't see that. You see them, if it's for Xbox, it's for Xbox, and it has the name on there. They have their logos. They have... There's no loss of control of publishing.
But it should make you feel a little better or a little worse, depending on how optimistically you want to look at the situation.
Yeah.
That the whole holiday rush thing is not a new concept. That was another part of this.
Yeah, no, it was one of the worst... The two games that Atari really messed up with that a lot of people know about is because of the holiday rush. I mean, Pac-Man. It was a beloved arcade game. And
That's
Atari...
the right jingle, right?
I don't have any idea. Atari got the licensing right to make a game. And the gentleman gave them a prototype, and they're like, great, we need this by the holiday season. Let's just sell the prototype.
What?
They didn't even make a full game. They just pushed out the prototype.
I've been researching this and I did not know that. Seriously?
Yeah. And so for the holiday season, they made 12 million copies of this prototype Pac-Man game when there was only 10 million Ataris in homes.
So they were counting on this game to be a console seller.
Yes.
Which is not new. That's not a terrible idea. That's a good thought that you're gonna
But if you're gonna push out a prototype, why have
Yeah, no, that's not good.
They were being silly.
Yeah. When the game is good is when you want to do it's not only that the games were bad, it was that they were, what I really liked the term, overhyped and underdone.
Yes. And the sad thing is, during this time, there wasn't enough media out on it. Computers weren't a big thing. Internet blogs weren't a big thing.
The internet didn't really exist, so...
No, so all people had to go off of was the back of the boxes.
And word of mouth.
And word of mouth, which, I mean, if you're trusting somebody who's producing the game,
Yeah.
of course they're going to hype it up
Producers
more.
lie to you. I don't know, if you don't understand this by now, I demand control of your money because you obviously cannot handle it.
Yeah. Well, the same thing happened with the game E.T. It is, like, well renowned for being a terrible game.
Yeah.
But what you have to understand is the behind to it. There was a quote that described that it literally was only between the movie coming out, them getting the license to make the game, and the holiday season coming up, they had literally 6 weeks to create, manufacture, and market the game before it was set to release.
And we all know what miserable products can come out in such a short production time.
Is this not sounding familiar to you guys? I sure hope it is, because I can sit here and talk about quite a few games that came out broken to meet deadlines.
But yeah, but nothing that terrible. Like,
No, of course not. But
games take years to make nowadays.
yeah, but there is still the whole feeling of have to hit the deadline. And if you keep to this, how much worse can it get?
Right.
We could end up falling back into that broken, nasty gamehood. Along with really bad games, or not bad games. A lot of people say it was due to bad games, but it was just the oversaturation of games. It was also the oversaturation of consoles.
Too many consoles. Consoles like the Bally Astrocade, the ColecoVision, the Coleco Gemini, Emerson Arcadia 2001, the Magnavox Odyssey, and the Odyssey Squared. Mattel Intellivision, the Vectrex, Sears Telegames, and Fairchild Channel F System 2. I really hope that was the very first one to fail, because yes, that sounds freaking awful.
I mean, yeah, I got the new Fairchild Channel F System 2.
Yo, did you get that F System 2, bro?
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, man, I'm all up in that Fairchild.
Okay,
The
that
worst
was
thing
horrible.
ever.
Not only was there an oversaturation of the console game systems, there was no protection on these systems.
Yeah.
So, like, ColecoVision, they had an expansion pack that allowed it to play Atari 2600 games.
Which, the funny thing is about that is that, in addition to that, some of them were almost virtually indistinguishable. And a large part of that is when these third companies went off and started to do their own thing, Atari got into a legal battle to prevent them from making cartridges for the Atari 2600, and they lost.
Yeah, no. And then, I mean, the same with ColecoVision. The reason that they could make this expansion pack is because the Atari was built, how is it explained? It was built by parts that were just out there. Like, it wasn't anything
So you could go to your hardware store or something and make
an Atari.
Okay.
Like,
wow.
but it was basically there were no patents on anything, nothing was special. It was just a system. And so then ColecoVision came out and made the Coleco, I think you said it on there, the Gemini.
Yes, the
And
Coleco
it was
Gemini.
basically the twin of the Atari 2600. So nowadays, where you have these three main console giants making their own kind of sort of systems. I mean, some of them have some differences, whatever. I think Nintendo's really the only one that, with its Wii, is really kind of different. But it's still, you have the three giants, and you got each of them making their own games, or they have publishers coming to their game, and they're their only one,
Yeah.
Instead of, all these consoles to choose from, and you have no idea if this console works or not, if it's worth the money, if it's okay. There's no...
And again, you have no way of knowing except for what they tell you,
Yeah.
or what the producers tell you, and word of mouth.
You don't have Twitch out there to be I should watch this game before I buy it.
Exactly. Which is what we do in our launch streams. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Watch after this show.
I don't know what I'm streaming yet.
Oh, don't tell them that.
That's a lie. I probably do. But another large part of what's starting to phase out video games was the rise of computers.
What? Ta-da! They were technologically more superior. They were competitive in price. I mean, you had the Apple system that was like thousands of dollars, and then all of a sudden, these others were coming out for like $500 and the same price as the gaming system. So all of a sudden, people were seeing a system that had higher quality graphics and sound. They also had word processing and accounting softwares on them.
Right.
So all of a sudden it was a better investment because not only did you get better games and more stuff to do on this system,
But it had other practical uses.
exactly. It was also much more wildly distributed, a lot easier to get to.
Yeah.
And I think you had a really cool quote. It was,
So
market is necessary to get into college.
Yeah, so one of these, one of the most popular computer systems to come out at that time was the Commodore 64. And companies like Commodore ended up marketing these to the education mamas out there.
Education mama.
Who, they saw the word processing functions and the accounting functions, and they thought, oh, my kid needs to be computer literate. Like, they know what the hell computer literate means in 1983. But they felt that was necessary to get into good college. So not only was it a game, but it was necessary to your future.
Yeah. So the marketing ploy was get into college. Video games are a fad.
Yeah, and see, they and it's so ratchet, but they capitalized on the crash. They said, look how video games are doing right now.
Yep.
They're not going to last. This is a dying industry. You want the Commodore.
Yeah, exactly. Which is funny because it's still in a battle with the consoles.
Yeah, this
They're-
whole PC Master Race nonsense.
Which is kind of a testament to how video games made a comeback.
Oh, yay.
I mean, it's still said that the PC has better graphics, functionality, whatever.
If you have a good
If
setup.
you have a good, exactly, but there is still the price point problem. You end up paying a lot on a good gaming computer.
And a computer can do, like you said, a good gaming computer. I got trapped in the sentence structure.
I'm sorry. So this stupid thing lasted 2 years.
A whole 2 years, and while that happened, the losses suffered. This industry freaking plummeted. Video games dropped from $3 billion in 1982. In 1982, that'd be about, adjusting for inflation around 2012, that's about $7.1 billion.
Woohoo!
To as low as $100 million in 1985.
Don't touch my table.
Sorry. Oh, wow. I gotta stop doing that. Bad. Which, of course, caused a great number of companies to go out of business.
And all those consoles to go on wicked sales
On
and games and...
Because this not only affected the companies and the devs, it didn't really affect the consumers that much.
No, the consumers actually... It was great for them.
Yeah.
Now families that couldn't afford entertainment had a form of entertainment.
Yeah, a large part of this was that consumers were just sitting back and not buying any of these myriad of consoles, waiting to see which one survives. And of course, with that mentality, the answer was quickly becoming none of them.
But I mean, that's why now you see 20 to 30 some odds playing games. Like, it's because of that we got systems into our houses.
Exactly.
When we couldn't really afford anything else.
Because who really got hit was also the distributors, the stores, whose had all this product that they could not sell and had nothing to return it to.
Yeah. The one thing that you do have to understand is this was the North America video game crash.
Right.
It was
outside of our merry little continent. This really didn't have much impact. The European market was already dominated by these 8-bit home microcomputers, and that never really suffered well into the next decade. As far as Japan goes, their arcade market was already flourishing because of because of pachinko parlors. They didn't really, home consoles didn't really catch on to Japan at first. They saw all the stuff that was going on in North America. They saw the Atari 2600, and it was a curiosity at best.
Yeah.
And the release of the Famicom, the family computer, in 1983, really didn't hurt. At all. It was awesome.
That was when the shift of the video game market went from America to Japan. And they still, get out of here, they still have majority control over the video game market to this day.
Japan owns you!
Owns your video game market, basically.
I had to say that.
And I mean, of course, not to toot the Nintendo horn again, we apologize. We swear this was just, stop it!
The sponsors have maintained that I must remain objective, and I'm doing my best.
Anyways, this was a request. This was a special feature request. So if you all have requests in the future, get to chatting in the chat. But anyways, continuing on.
Yeah, it was argued that if we tackled this, it would sound like we were too much on the Nintendo bandwagon. And as much as I may be personally, you can't argue with history.
So anyways, the Nintendo Entertainment System.
The Nintendo Entertainment System, 1985. Flagshipped by Super Mario Brothers, a fat Italian plumber. Designed by a young programmer named Shigeru Miyamoto, suddenly came into existence in the United States. And the success of the Nintendo Entertainment System was really the result of brilliant marketing on behalf of the Japanese and the fact that they watched the madness unfold in the States and did their best to work a way around it. And it started with the design of the system. For starters, the Nintendo Entertainment System is really just the North American port of the Famicom. So they put a lot of work into redesigning it in a way that would be received well by North American audiences.
Who at this point were very distrusting of video games and consoles.
So it started with the front-loading design. It made it look like a VCR.
Yep.
It had the accessories. You could get the bundles that came with the robot operating buddy or Rob or the I forgot what it's called. Or the Zapper light gun. So what really helped,
like normal toys.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. What really helped is that they looked a lot like conventional toys. So if you ever got bored with playing with your playing the Nintendo, you could just pass the stuff off to your kids. Here's a robot. Here's a light gun. Shoot the robot.
Shoot the robot, kid. But like you said, it was brilliant marketing. They didn't market this as a video game console. They marketed it as an entertainment system. And then your games weren't games. They were game packs.
Right.
So it's like they were so brilliant even down to the verbiage. Like you said, the friggin' design. Oh, let's make sure it looks like a VCR. VCR rather than like the top part or these other ports. Make it feel like you're pushing it into the VCR player.
Exactly.
Like, that is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is what people aren't understanding is, okay, we had this crash. Could it happen again?
It's not. The industry's doing a lot better now. Mm-hmm. There are always going to be issues between the developers and the distributors. I think it's handled in a much better way now.
Yeah.
But the important thing to remember is that video games are very much a luxury item. My Wii U does not feed me. My Xbox does not clothe me. My PlayStation does not give me shelter. So whenever budgets need to be trimmed, generally the first thing to go is video games.
Is those luxury items. Going out to eat, going to the movies, video games. I mean, movies are still cheaper than video games.
Yeah. Especially depending on where you go. I love going to cinema.
Yeah. Bowling is still cheaper than video games. I mean, if you think about the price point with the game, like, okay, $60, you get how many hours of playtime?
Yeah.
Like, sure.
That being said, because I really like what Testify said about how he judges the video game's playworthiness, an hour for every dollar you spend.
Yes.
But if that's the way you look at it, however, whatever I may say about Destiny, it has more than justified its
Paid
price.
itself off,
As
yeah.
much as I've paid for through the main game and the expansions, at least 5 times over. But I'm sorry, move on. Go on.
No, I mean, that's the thing is you have to, it's your own budget. It's your own money. You got to justify it the way you have to. For me,
Right.
it's like, I'd much rather go out and do stuff and live a life than sit in front of a computer. But but I have my rainy days. I just want to be indoors and away from people. And
That was when Level Bosses lost all its subscribers. When Morgan told you all to stop playing games and go outside.
Just healthy balance, guys. Healthy balance. The sun is shining. Go play outside. The sun goes down. Be indoors. It's safer. But, I mean, basically what we're trying to say is you have to look at your industry. We have better, the big issue was the loss of publisher control. Now we have a pretty steady grasp on who's producing what games. We have our big wigs pushing out great games. We have indie groups that are pushing out may not be the greatest, but they're more intuitive, like new art styles, new ways of going about stuff.
And one of the most important things is, what originally cost us is the developers are credited now.
Yeah, exactly.
You can skip the credits in video games now, but they are there.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of tension. Recently, we heard about the voice actor strike.
Ooh, that's going to be fun to
We
talk
were
about.
debating talking about it this time, but we're waiting for a little more information before we go on a news bit about that. But there is still, developers are still underpaid or still pushed to their brink and not getting their portion of it. So, I mean, there is still hurt feelings in the industry, but there is some fail-safe there as well.
Right.
But, like we're saying is, companies need to stop making dumb decisions. We don't want to repeat Atari.
Oh, no.
We don't
No,
need to keep pushing out broken games and running for the finish line without things being done.
Although, if it does reoccur and there ends up being some, secret landfill of Xbox games, I really hope I'm the one to find that in, 30, 40 years.
Kind of. I mean, what I heard about it was that they got steamrolled and then covered in cement, so it may may not actually work anymore. But
No, never mind whether or not they work. I was talking about their resale value, but that's probably
not any
non-existent if that's the case.
So thank you for requesting this show. We had a lot of fun researching this, a lot of fun talking about it. I hope it kind of helped you understand our past and where we got to and Nintendo's rise to power in this guy's eyes. We love requests. If you're interested in a topic, if you're interested in some news that you want us to go more in depth with, another history lesson, anything at all, get a hold of us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. I don't know how you get a hold of us on Tumblr.
Neither do I. But those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And I'm not saying that Shigeru Miyamoto single-handedly saved the video game industry. I'm just saying the next time you pop a game into your Xbox, you should probably thank him.
Anyways, that is our episode. Thank you for watching. Follow us, tweet us.
And stay tuned as I will be coming back right after this to stream. I don't know. I was thinking about streaming some Dead or Alive.
Oh.
I got a couple of friends who asked me to stream it. I wish that I had managed to convince our Tumblr engineer to purchase it when she was out buying games the other day, because I wanted somebody to fight. So if I can't find a worthy challenger, then I'll probably just go through the story mode, because there's actually a story mode.
What? Cool, so stick around while he gets set up, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.